That Talking Podcast. I'm JJ Stark.
And I'm Downtown Andy.
Welcome, welcome. We are here to talk and bring some civil discourse to an otherwise discordant world. It's Memorial Day at the time of recording this, so hope everyone is being safe.
Nobody on audio can see me doing this.
Yeah, why are you doing that?
I'm just trying to make sure everything's still working.
Get all the blood
the muscles
flowing.
are working.
Yeah.
Get all
red
giggles
leather,
out,
yellow
yeah.
leather, red leather, yellow leather.
Yeah, I should probably do those things before we go on. But, A lot of times I listen to myself and I'm just like, stop slurring your words. Enunciate.
I think you enunciate just fine.
Yeah, I don't.
Yeah, I think it's all right.
I think if, the rule list were a lot longer, I'd be breaking many of them. But speaking of rules, let's get right to it.
Well, right into it. We have 3 rules here in the bubble for the sake of civility. No judgment, nothing personal, and please don't be a dick. We've been saying please lately. Like it's a request.
Manners are free.
Manners are free.
Manners are free.
Unless you pay for them.
Who pays for manners?
Like finishing school people.
Oh, I thought you were going to say Finnish people.
No, I don't think the Finnish people pay for manners.
You never know.
I mean, I don't know.
Scandinavians have very different ways of doing things. I love the Scandinavians. I love the Scandinavians and the Japanese.
Yeah.
Well, we already know that.
What do you want to talk about?
What do I want to I'm kind of in a sour mood right now.
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't want to make like a whole, like somber episode. And I was thinking like, do we do like a mental well-being check or one of those things or whatever?
Is it that time?
Not necessarily. I've just had, you saw me, I had a couple snippets earlier, little malfunctions.
A couple of outbursts.
Sure.
Small.
This morning was
brief
great.
outbursts.
Last night was great. This morning was okay. Yeah. But just, I went and I got the most recent session on my latest tattoo done, and I'm feeling good about it.
Good.
And thank you to Jenny and Coat of Arms. And I'm very, very happy.
I'm very happy too. Yeah.
But so I went and did that today.
Mm-hmm.
And upon walking in, I met a young man that I've never met before. A man by the name of Ari.
I haven't seen that kid in like 12 years.
Now, for those who don't know, Ari is the only son of Jim Perella, the singer from Two Fisted Law, a band I was in for 4 years.
Yeah. If you go back and listen to That Talking Podcast history, we've done a few episodes about Jim.
We have. Yeah. Jim was very special to both of us.
Mm-hmm.
And we both miss him dearly.
Yeah.
But he's getting ready to get tattooed by Eric, and Eric's like, "This guy look familiar?" And I'm like, and he's like, "Look around the room." And like, I kind of had a feeling I knew where he was going, but I'm just like,
Yeah.
I've only seen Ari in pictures, and usually mostly him as a child.
Yeah, I haven't seen that kid since he was like 8, I think.
So, but I think I talked to him on the phone once.
Yeah.
Like, I was with Josh when Josh was on the phone with Jim's mom trying to plan the memorial.
Right.
And like she handed the phone to Ari at one point. So I heard his voice, but I was like, I've never met this kid. I've only ever seen pictures and heard Jim talk about him many a time.
We never would have known that he was real.
But, he looks like I would have looked at that age, like it just, he just looked like a kid,
Well, he is just a kid.
And, we joke with like, oh, I've got stories about your old man. He's like, I'd love to hear him sometime. Like it was almost like a surreal moment. It's just like, cause he doesn't like look a lot like Jim. I mean, he's got Jim's face, but with long hair and a mustache.
Yeah.
And Jim never had a mustache.
No.
Or long hair. When he went through the blonde phase. But
that wasn't long.
Not this long.
No.
But yeah, I had a hard time collecting my thoughts from when I walked in, because I'm just like, it felt like Jim's presence is in the room, And
Well, a little bit of it is.
I felt a strange like fear and comfort in the same moment, because it's just like, he's here, but he's not.
Yeah.
And I would have loved to have spent, an hour or two with the kid, but I think him and Eric had plans after that. And so, but I was like, don't be a stranger, we should catch up at some point. And
cool. Very cool.
But something occurred to me on my way out, and I was like, because I don't talk to Kyle anymore, but I'm like, he would probably want to know that Ari was in the area because Kyle lives close by. So I messaged him.
You messaged Kyle?
I messaged Kyle to let him know. I'm like, Ari's getting tattooed. If you want to go, catch up. That's all I said. If you want to go catch up, he's there. I didn't have his number. He's got me blocked on Instagram. But on Facebook Messenger, it was still open. So I sent him that message, and then some time went by, and, he didn't see it or whatever. And then I saw that he saw it. I'm like, oh, good, he saw it. And then just habitually, I go to click on his page, and now I'm blocked.
It's like he forgot one.
And
And thanks for reminding
then
me. I have
like
to block
10
you on
seconds
Facebook
after
too.
that, he blocked me from the Strangers Facebook page.
Wow.
Yeah.
See, that seems like a stretch. That seems unnecessary.
I'm still able to see the Two-Fisted Law pages, which I'm sure after this episode airs, I'll be blocked from those too. But that,
I haven't checked to see if Kyle blocked me on anything.
does it really matter at this point?
I mean, I couldn't give a shit.
Like, the only part of this that bothers me is that me and him and I, and the other guys in Two-Fisted Law, and the Strangers, and Tax Collectors, have all been friends for so long. We've all known each other. We've all been through ups and downs. We've all, we echoed this in this premiere and other episodes and whatever. But what's got me down is the fact that they've allowed these transgressions between us to change, to color their opinions, to change their feelings. I've been mad at them for things they've said or done, sure. And, we've blocked each other and unblocked each other and blocked each other again and shit like that. Like, I've got all the Tax Collectors guys blocked right now because I was in one of those moods where I'm just like, fuck you guys. Like,
Yeah.
you did something really shitty and I have every right to be mad about it. Just like same thing with the Strangers. Like, Kyle did something really shitty and I reacted and I did something he didn't like. And it's like, we're not in fucking grade school anymore. Like, we're all grown adults. But the thing about it is, we've all known each other and yet we can't seem to come to a mature conclusion to all of this. I was trying to do something nice. I was trying to do something I thought would be important to him. It's like, I'm sure Ari is as important to him as Jim was. He and Jim.
I don't know that.
Well, I don't know that either. But,
I mean, here's the thing, though, about that. Specifically this particular instance.
Yeah.
If it were that significant, he would know.
I'm sure.
I mean, the kid doesn't live far.
I don't know where he lives.
They live in like Hartford or something.
That's pretty far from here.
It's not that far.
It's far enough.
It's less than an hour.
It's far, but again.
But don't you think that if it were necessary that people know that, he would either reach out to them or maybe Eric would have said, like, hey, we're doing this. But like, this was just time for him to spend with Eric.
I don't think that Eric is going to broadcast to the world like, hey, my deceased friend's son is in the shop today. Everybody come down and gather. Like, I figured because of how important Jim was to the band that Kyle might want to know. And I thought I was doing a nice thing, but apparently it didn't mean very much at all. So, but, that brings me to this topic that I want to talk about. And it's, people just, I don't understand how people can get like that. Like I grew up around a lot of people, mostly family, who, if somebody was mad at you, and even, no matter who was in the right or who was in the wrong, if somebody's mad at you, it doesn't last forever. Amends usually get made, apologies get said, people, grow and learn and mature, and, people don't forget. But, it's like, all right, that's in the past and that's where it should stay. And let's move forward. So, let's figure out how to move forward so these things don't happen again.
Isn't your family like nefarious for holding grudges, though, with people?
Not my immediate family, no.
Okay.
My mother, my father, my brothers, no.
Okay.
I've heard stories about extended family. Yeah.
Right.
But like, because personally, do I stay mad at people for certain things? Yes. Do I hold the grudge? Am I constantly like have it, like at the tip of my brain being like, oh, I'm going to get this person for that fucking thing? Like, no.
Are you sure about that?
Positive. I stay mad and am mad and have forgotten about being mad. Like, for example, the last time Rhodey and I had a falling out because we kept our band going after he left and he was mad about that. He called the fucking cops on Justin and I and told them that we were going to go burn down a church.
Which I still think he should have been arrested for.
So,
like, it's literally the definition of filing a false report.
Because we were in a black metal band and that sort of thing has always been associated with that style of music, and bands in the past have done that, He told them, he's like, these guys are going to go do this. So naturally, they call my house. My parents are like, what the fuck is this? We have to go down there. I'm put in a room directly next to Rhodey. They won't let me see or talk to him. And we have to explain to him this whole spiel. Then a week later, Rhodey posts a picture of himself on Facebook in front of a bonfire with a burning cross.
So how does this connect to what you actually want to be talking about, your topic?
So I was pissed at him for that. Like the fact that, now you drag my parents into this. You've made up some bullshit all because we just wanted to keep playing music, without, like, we didn't want him to leave, but he wanted to leave. He got tired of the same thing that I got tired of. Like, back then, Justin was doing things he shouldn't have been doing, and Brody had enough, and he walked away. But we wanted to keep playing music, and he was insulted by that. So what does he do? He goes and does something stupid like this.
Okay.
So it pissed me off. And my dad was like, you don't ever fucking talk to him again. You don't look at him. But again, we grew, we matured, we got older. And we're just like, that was just some dumb, stupid shit. Like, I don't think about, like, when I think about that now, I'm not still mad at him for that. We were young and dumb.
Okay.
We were in our early 20s and, cooler heads did not prevail.
But let me ask you this. Now that you've had this most recent falling out with him, didn't it, maybe not in perpetuity, but didn't it bring that incident to the surface?
No.
I'm sorry, because you brought it up to me like half a dozen times.
Only because you'd never heard that story before.
But once I heard it the first time, I didn't have to continue hearing it.
Again, young and dumb, okay? You said to me in that episode, you're just like, you didn't seem very polite when you talked about, leaving, or when you talked about airing your grievances. And, and you asked me, you're like, were you just venting? And I'm like, yeah, because generally when people tend to vent, they exaggerate things, they embellish things, they get heated, they get loud. I mean, we've all done that.
Mm-hmm.
We've all done that. Am I mad about something? Am I still going to continue to stay mad about something that happened in 2010? No, because that was 16 years ago.
But you're still mad about something that happened last year.
Listen, if we get to 5-10 years from now, hell, even a year from now, like, I'm sure I'm not going to be fuming about what they did, playing that show without me.
Yeah.
As much as I did when I first found out about it. Like, why would I?
Right.
But like this example right here, this is fresh. I tried to do something that I thought he might appreciate, and you want to block me? Go right ahead.
But are we talking about holding grudges?
I'm not holding a grudge anymore.
I'm not talking about you specifically. Are we talking about the unfortunate nature of holding grudges?
Sure.
Because, because that would seem to be what Kyle is doing.
One of the last things he said to me was, I don't want to be in a band with someone like you, or I don't want to play music with someone like you. And I was like, okay, you're well within your right, because he always made a point of saying that he was never going to kick anyone out of his bands. If somebody wanted to leave, that's different. But he always said, he's like, I'm never going to kick anyone out. Who did he kick out?
I didn't suggest that he was kicking someone out. I just think that that's kind of that's kind of a pussy-footed perspective. It's just sort of like, like maybe, just maybe, since he doesn't have the balls to kick someone out because of creative issues or whatever differences might be irreconcilable and everything. Instead, he's going to push people to the point where they can't take it anymore, so they leave, and suddenly he's not a villain. That's funny because I'm pretty sure that's what he did to you. So I have a little bit less respect for someone who says, I'm never going to kick somebody out. That's like saying, like, I would never leave that person. I would never leave my marriage. And then just, cheat on them behind their back and everything like that. I'd never leave my marriage.
It doesn't matter because both bands are continuing without me.
Fair.
Good for them, And if they want to be mad at me for the way I reacted to all of to both of my exits, let them be mad, okay? What I did today was something outside of the realm of band-related things. I was trying to do something nice for somebody that I used to care a great deal about, and this is what I was met with. Yeah, I know. But
I mean, shit happens, you know. I think it's sad. I mean, I think it's even more sad that like he could have been like, "Oh, you know, like thanks for telling me."
could have.
And then, you know, no, like not even out loud, but could have been like, "Oh, good. Now I know that and now I'm going to block you so that you can't get in touch with me again." It's like,
Yeah, but how
that's a little
often
sour
what
pickles.
he's really got to do is ask himself, how often have I tried to get in contact with him over the past year and a half? The only times I've talked to him prior to this was Rat's Nest, was when they played the shop, uh, and I think that's it. Yeah, those are the only times that he and I have been in the vicinity of each other, and we shook hands both those times
Mhm.
because I genuinely wanted him to know that I appreciate that they're still going, that he's still doing his thing, because regardless of what I've said about him in the past, his, you know, our personal relationship, his personality, the way he's treated me, whatever, I can't deny the fact that he's a decent songwriter. Okay. And the stuff that he writes is super catchy because that's what made me a fan of it, and, you know, of wanting to be involved with him in the first place. Doesn't change the fact that he can be a dick.
I mean, regardless of his talent as a musician, I see, you know, I don't like to hold grudges. My people have a tendency to do that, but I
Your
don't.
people?
My people,
The Armenians or the cats?
the
Okay.
Armenians. You know, we have a tendency to hold grudges. I mean, my grandmother and my entire, you know, my mother's side of my entire family, you know, didn't speak to me from the time I was 16. I didn't see my cousins for over 20 years. And then one day one of them walks into the dispensary and I'm just like,
Oh, yeah.
holy shit. But meanwhile, you know, we still have not made plans to see each other because I've reached out being like, let's do something, let's get together and everything. And they're just like, yeah, definitely. But then it falls off. And we're blood relatives.
Hmm.
You know, my uncle dropped dead before he and I had a chance to hash anything out, when I was 19. Um, my grandmother died. We never made up. She and my mother just barely made up. Um, you know, I didn't see because my grandmother had alienated the entire family against me and my mom and my dad. Technically, my sister was the only one who was in anyone's good graces, and she was basically used as a pawn to make everybody feel bad. You know, like my family really did not to air all of my dirty
Well, I mean,
laundry,
traditionally it's a family related thing.
but like, you know, like I didn't I haven't seen any of my family for decades, literal decades at this point. Um, but do I hold a grudge against them for anything? I mean, the reason why this happened, and I'm gonna put it out there. The reason why this happened was because when I was in high school, I was dating someone who my grandmother disapproved of for basically prejudicial reasons.
Mm.
And
I know what that's like.
yeah, and she told my mother that I shouldn't be allowed to see this person anymore. And my mom and I basically told my grandmother to fuck off.
Was it
And
Josh?
yeah.
Yeah.
And my grandmother said, you know, if you're going to let your daughter talk to me like that, you know, like you're none of you are in my family anymore. So I dare say all of this probably was my fault,
Hmm.
but it's not because my grandmother didn't have to be such a cunt about it.
What do old world people have against, you know?
It's it, I think it gets into a long
Because my
story
grandmother and I had the same
on my
conversation, and
side,
you know why.
but this, yeah, no, and this basically, and she made a concerted effort to alienate the entire family against us, and you know, but like I don't hold a grudge, and I don't know if I would go so far as to say I'm sorry that we weren't able to, you know, bury the hatchet before the end and everything. It's like because, you know, my family's perspective, my grandmother and her, you know, her ilk
Hmm.
were really of the mindset that the reason why you should take our side as opposed to your own or my dad's, who was an outsider and stuff like that, like the reason why you need to obey us is blood is thicker than water.
Hmm.
And I do not believe that, because look at what my blood did to me. So I'm of, I don't like the idea of, and your I don't know if it was your dad or if it was one of your brothers who were saying, like, let's put the kibosh on this, estrangement,
After
before
passing, yeah.
exactly. Let's put this all to the close because we're family.
So
It's
when
like,
you reference that,
is that enough?
it's because, and I don't know the specific, I don't remember the specifics because it's something I just tuned out. But I've heard that somewhere down in the lineage, grandparents, great grandparents, great aunts, uncles, whatever, stopped talking for 20 years because of something,
Right.
and I don't remember if they reconnected on deathbeds or not, but like that was a thing in my family where somebody stopped talking to someone else for 20 years, and my parents and brothers had always said, like, let's not let this happen to us. Let's
Right.
not, repeat the cycle. Um, I remember there was I don't want to get too specific, but there was an argument when my grandmother passed, and when at her wake, I was hesitant to approach certain family members, and I'm like, and my dad actually came up to me, and
At
he's
your
just,
mom's wake?
no, my grandmother's wake,
Oh, okay.
and my he's like, go say hello to so and so, and I'm like, are you sure? He's like, they're still family. And this wasn't even his side of the family, like,
Yeah.
and I'm like, okay, because the thing is, there was never any issue with me. It's just like, after what I heard, it's like,
Right.
this is some pretty, like, not okay stuff, and I don't know how I feel about, like, I'm on the side of my immediate family here, but he was right. They are still family, and because they never did anything to me.
Right.
And again, people say things in the heat of the moment and say things that they don't necessarily mean, and I know there's some people that don't believe that that's okay, like there should be no justification for certain things said or no justification for certain actions. It's like, you do that, that's it. Like,
I mean, I am not I will say, I was a proponent for holding grudges
mm,
because the old me, and the old me that expired in like 2020,
mm,
basically, the old me
when the whole
essentially,
world died.
yeah, basically, the old me, really did believe that, you crossed me, you hurt me, you're dead to me.
See,
Like, and I was perfectly fine with that. And then I sort of realized how much energy it took to hold a grudge, and I'm just like, ugh. I'm like, I don't even give a shit.
I've usually felt that way about exes. Like, if you cheat on me or if you do, whatever, like, okay, I'm going to hold the grudge because there's no getting back together. There's no repairing this. Like, you did something that's completely unforgivable.
Yeah.
And I am going to think of you a certain way for the rest of my life. So don't even make an attempt to contact me. Maybe that's how Kyle and Rhodey and all these guys feel about me now.
Maybe.
And I'm in the process of making myself okay with that because, again, I don't want to stay mad at them for the things that they've done forever.
And you don't have to.
I don't. And like,
but that certainly doesn't mean that they're going to,
but I've also,
they're going to bury the hatchet with you.
of course not. But I've also watched relationships with a lot of people in my life deteriorate over the last few years. And again, this is not your fault. You have nothing to do with. No, but you have largely allowed me to realize my worth, since we've been married. Because,
well, somebody should.
Yeah, because, I, for a large part of my life, I intentionally let people walk all over me because I was comfortable with certain things. I was used to certain things, and I didn't test boundaries for fear of, whatever. But eventually I did start speaking up for myself, in defense of myself. And a lot of people didn't like that. And they're like, whoa, where's this coming from? Things were fine the way they were.
Yeah.
And it's like,
things were so much more comfortable when you were a doormat.
You don't have carte blanche to walk over me like that. Like, that's not cool. And if that means the difference between being in each other's lives and not, then there's the door. Go fuck yourself.
I mean, it's funny you brought up Jim, because Jim was the first grudge that I was hell bent on holding, as well as well, maybe he wasn't the first that I was hell bent on holding, but he was the first that I very consciously very, very consciously decided to do away with. When in literally right before he died, when I was determined to stay mad at him forever. And I told him to leave me alone when he was trying to sort of, bury that hatchet and make amends and everything. And I literally told him, I said, leave me alone. I said, it is not going to work. I do not want to forgive you. And
That must have hurt.
it hurt me too.
I'm not saying it didn't. I'm just saying like that. So when somebody tells you something like that, that's a tough pill to swallow.
But I was determined when he finally broke that last straw in 2019, I was like, that is it. I'm like, he has run out of second chances and third and fourth and ninth chances. I'm like, I'm done. I'm done giving him the benefit of the doubt. And I said to myself, we will now hold this grudge for the rest of our life. Period. And
yours or his?
However long it was going to last. I meant mine, but I was determined. And a couple years go by and I was still telling him, like, I'm done, like, please.
But you stayed in contact.
No, he tried to keep contact with me, but I would either ignore him or I would tell him to go away. And then finally, early 2021 came along and my entire mindset changed about a lot of things, about relationships, about self-awareness, about, my own perspective on, a lot of things. And that's when I really started to evolve, for lack of a better word. And the next time that he, sort of interacted with me, I allowed it. And he was sort of like, whoa, like, okay, well, maybe I'll try and crack that door open a little bit more. And I allowed it. And we started talking again. And we went out for coffee and, that summer, and we talked about it through and through. And we talked about what he had done and how I was feeling about it and why I have decided to just not feel that way anymore. And that's exactly what happened, was that I literally was just like, I don't want to not regret, because I don't regret things, but I don't want to waste my energy being mad about something when I could just as easily use that same energy to be happy about something.
See, now prior to you and I getting...
And then he dropped dead the next day.
Prior to you and I getting together...
Seemed kind of spiteful.
I was totally okay being the way that I was, where it's like, okay, time passes, let's shake hands, agree to disagree, whatever. Like, just let's put it behind us, clean slate, move forward, no matter who it was with.
Yeah.
And... looking back now, I realize that I could have saved myself a lot of aggravation if I had stood my ground and been like, you know what? No, I'm better than this. You're wrong. You should be apologizing to me, which I didn't have the confidence to do back then because I was afraid of losing people. I was afraid of people, having the upper hand and walking away and, having it on me. And it's like, some of these people that I've talked about on the podcast, I haven't spoken to in over a year now.
Mm-hmm.
And, that's not on me. That's on them, because my door is always open and has always been open.
Yeah.
And because of how I was raised, I'm always willing to bury the hatchet and put things behind us, as long as somebody's willing to admit they're wrong, because I've been willing to admit when I'm wrong. Okay. I've been a prick to people. I've been rude. I've been out of line. I have, let my emotions get the better of me. And I will say that openly and to people's faces, because that's how I grow. That's how I learn not to do or say certain things again, and to not hurt people I care about. I mean, my kid's mother and I went back and forth for years, and everybody in Two-Fisted Law knows how that went. Mm-hmm. Jim was one of the people who was coaching me through that whole thing because he'd, lived through similar experiences himself. But previously, where I would have just been super upset about losing friends over the dumbest shit, now, it still sucks,
Yeah.
but I'm okay because, like, a lot of times I'll be driving and I'll think about past grudges. And they'll flood me and get me riled up and whatever. And then, I'll keep driving and eventually they'll just kind of phase out. Like John, for example. John's always the biggest one.
Yeah.
My brother. Because for years he was doing things he shouldn't have been doing. And I was telling family and friends I was trying to get them to see what I was seeing so that maybe somebody with more sway than me could wake him up.
Yeah.
Could talk him out of the bad decisions he was making. And nobody believed me. And he would get mad at me because he said I was lying. And I'm like, I know I'm not lying. I have proof. Okay. And I showed him and I showed other people and it didn't make a damn bit of difference. Didn't make a damn bit of difference. And then when he died, police reports came out and toxicology came out. And it still didn't matter because now he's dead. So me being right was had no, it wasn't worth it anymore.
Yeah.
Like I was trying to keep him alive and to keep him healthy. And periodically I'll be driving and I'll get super angry because of all the things that he and I said to each other.
Yeah.
And my trying to get him to stop being stupid. He's like, I don't appreciate you saying these things to people when they're not true. And I'm like, that's the first sign of the kind of person you're being. And I know that because I was that person once before.
The fact that you, not to jump around, but like the fact that you are like, it's been almost a year and a half since you fell out with Kyle.
Yeah.
And it's taken this long for him to
No.
To blockade you entirely?
He blocked me on Instagram right then.
Right, but he forgot Facebook. And, today, thank God you reminded him that he forgot Facebook.
I better not start a blue sky.
So stupid. But like Kyle's another one because I also have not talked to Kyle in a year and a half. And unlike you, even though I've been in the room with him, he's completely ignored my existence. And I have also done the same. Now, I did not like walk away from the man or anything like that. But like, I didn't go up to him like, hello.
See, I think like, it's really stupid of him to, to block me, to ignore me, to whatever. And then when we're standing in front of each other and I stick my hand out, the sensible thing would be like, no, I'm not shaking your hand. You were an asshole. Like, this is really how I should be what I should be doing. But I'm shaking his hand because, again, I still respect the time that we spent playing together as musicians. Okay. And for the friendship that I thought we had.
Yeah.
But as I've said in previous podcasts, like he and I did nothing together outside of the band.
I know that, and it's the same thing for me. I mean, Kyle, after in what, 10 years? Yeah, 10 years I hadn't talked to Kyle. And then Jim died and Kyle and I were friends again. And, and it was cool. It was like, we were cool and we were friends again. And Kyle, after this last falling out, like, I know that Kyle is going to be another one, but my door is open. My door is open if that man ever wants to be human and come at me in a human way.
It must be the diabetes.
But that's just it, is that thanks to the diabetes
the type 2
Kyle beaties and the lower kidney function and everything, I do not foresee. I'm not hoping anything, but like,
neither am I.
For all I know, Kyle's gonna be the next one to die, and we're never gonna hash it out.
I always enjoyed talking to him about punk rock, about guitars, about fucking Kiss or whatever. Like he introduced politics into our relationship, and it fucking pissed me off.
Yeah.
I don't want to talk politics with anybody. ever. Like, I just don't.
Nor do I.
You know, but he couldn't resist it, and he knew how it would affect me. He knew how I would get heated and react to the things he had to say, but he just couldn't stop, and he knew that I didn't want to, but kept it going anyway, and that started to color my opinion of him. It's like, are we friends or are we not friends? Because if you're my friend, you're not going to do this to me.
But that's just it, is that even the best of friends can have those conversations and even argue and get heated and everything, but with the respect of, I understand the underpinning of this whole situation is we do respect each other.
Like, if you wanted me out of your band because of my politics, then why the fuck didn't you just kick me out?
Because he doesn't do that.
Nope.
Because he doesn't do that.
He has his tactic.
Instead, he spent, what, like a year and a half, basically.
More than that.
Scratching at you. Just pick until you blew up, and then it was all on you.
Like, when Jim died, I didn't want to get back into the Strangers because I didn't have a band. I wanted to get back into the Strangers because I wanted to hang out with my friends again.
Yeah.
Like, that was my motive there. Like, I wanted to see my friends more than once a funeral.
Yeah. No, I understand.
Like,
I told you about Jim's funeral, too. All four of them were there, and not a one said a word to me. They sat right behind me, and no one said anything. I was like, that's kind of shitty.
I really wish I'd cut out of work and gone. Because that was still at a time where I thought, like, if I call out even once, then I'm gonna, they're gonna fire me or some shit like that. And I told them, I told my boss when Jim died, I'm like, I may have to, call out one day to go to a funeral. Oh, well, when is it? Where, how long will you be gone? Like, I'm like, it doesn't fucking matter. Because I knew telling him that a bandmate died wouldn't make any damn bit of difference to him. Fucking piece of shit.
I don't know. I don't think there's anything wrong with holding a grudge, but I think that you need the self-awareness to recognize that it is expending a lot of energy on something that is not benefiting anybody.
Okay, so in the time, like, I can't remember the last time I was, like, upset about not having a relationship with Kyle. It's been a long time, okay?
Yeah.
It's been a year and a half since I left the Strangers. I probably haven't been, because again, I saw them at Rat's Nest last summer, and I was actually standing there chuckling most of the time because he still can't play his fucking instrument. This is the thing that really gets me. Like, when we were in Two-Fisted Law, I had been in Two-Fisted Law a couple of months, and I had him over to this was one of, like, maybe 2 times he's ever been here in the house. And we're sitting there, and I was trying to show him something that I wanted to work into a song, and he just had zero interest whatsoever. Like, zero interest in learning, anything outside of his wheelhouse. And I'm like, Jesus fucking Christ, like, why am I even bothering? Like, okay, oh, yes, master. I'll just, I'll keep quiet and do as I'm told,
Did you call him Masser?
Massa?
Massa? Good grief.
But yeah, no, this will pass. Like I keep saying, these things will pass, because today, like, all right, fine, be a petty little shit, I don't fucking care.
See, and that's just it, is that with so much time in between the two events, it does, like, the more time passes, it's exponentially growing the pettiness.
It's funny because on the way to the shop, I was going through my voice memos and I was playing, Strangers songs that I recorded from practice. Like, I have a recording of Alive in Tucson from November of 2016. That's almost 10 years old now.
Wow.
And it's actually pretty fucking good.
Yeah.
And, because I miss the person I thought was my friend. That's what I miss.
Yeah.
I miss the person that I had been duped into believing was my friend all these years. That's who I miss. I don't miss the person he's become. And I don't miss the person him or any of the tax collectors and harlots have become, because I thought those guys were my friends. And they showed their true colors.
Yeah.
I still talk to Rob. I texted Tom on his birthday, like, and it, like, I was, you were there for this when we played Lucy's and Tom held up the entire show because he couldn't fucking hear. I was mad about that, but do I give a shit about it now? No, it's in the past. Like, Tom is the best fucking drummer I've ever played with, and everybody I know knows that because I constantly tell them. And Rob I have known for 20 plus years, and Rob and I have had, spats here and there, but, like, I mean, I just bought him that bass, like, does that look like an act of somebody who's holding a grudge?
I mean, that's just it, is that we've talked about compartmentalization on this show. Also, we've talked about it a lot. And in situations like this, that's what confuses me, is when people aren't able to do that. For example, I disliked quite a few people that I have worked with. Uh, it did not make me rearrange my schedule. I certainly didn't act like, I wasn't like, oh, I can't even talk to these people. It's like, no, it's like, there's an obstacle there, but I understand that, I am at work. I have a job to do. I will do my job to the best of my ability, regardless of my personal feelings for somebody. Outside of work is totally different. Don't talk to me, kind of a thing. But it's like it's the simplest act of compartmentalization. Just you separate the two, and the fact that people like this are unable to do that or unwilling to do that.
I think more unwilling
See,
than
and
unable.
that's just it, that's where the pettiness comes in. If you are literally unwilling to do something that is in your ability to do, why the fuck wouldn't you?
Like,
for everyone's peace of mind.
You hear me talk about my coworkers all the time, particularly the ones that just don't seem, it's not that they can't do their jobs properly, they choose not to.
Right.
Okay. And there's this one guy who does my route on my not my scheduled days off, but my unscheduled. So like if I put in for a vacation or take you to an appointment or something. So yeah. But anyway, and he and I have gone at it before. But for the most part, like we've gotten back to a point where we're joking about movies and this and that and the other thing and just silly shit. We're just loading our trucks and just telling jokes and whatnot. But, recently I told him, I'm like, not this shit again, dude. Like, why? Come on. My phone is on. Call me. Like, why don't you ever fucking call me? Why don't you ever ask me when you don't know something? Like, come on. It's simple shit. Everything's marked. I label everything. Come on. And he just doesn't give a fuck. So I blew up on him because I'm like, I've told you all this shit multiple times before. I've made it as easy as I possibly can. You doing what I'm asking would avoid these confrontations. But his take on it is, I shouldn't be confrontational. It's like, no, you should do your fucking job the way you're supposed to. It's not my fault that management won't fucking write you up for anything.
Yeah.
Like that's just it. Management just lets these fucking kids skate by because we can't make them do anything. It's like, that's your fucking job, to make them do the job properly. So that way our customers who are innocent in all of this don't get fucked over.
And you have made yourself professionally. You have made yourself readily available to anyone who needs your help professionally, including on your time off. Now, there have been moments certainly where like you and I have been away and you'll get a text message from someone from work and I've sort of looked at your phone like, oh no, like this is us time. Like, please do not devote any of your time to fixing someone else's problem when someone else is there to fix the problem. But when someone you dislike as a human person tries to sop your energy on a day off just by blathering, that's when it sort of steams my clams. Because I'm just like...
Steamed clams.
I'm just like, please. I'm like, I can't even handle this because you will get angry, you will get annoyed, and then I have to bear that because you would have been in a better mood if you did not allow yourself to be accessed by these people.
It's been a really tough learning experience, but I've been told by many people many times, you can't expect people to do things the way you would do or learn the way that you would, but I also feel compelled to offer people help when I'm able to. Like I can't say to somebody, yes, my phone is always on, and then get mad at them when they text me.
No, but you have. You have.
Because in that same vein of, not what was I going with this? Of not getting mad at people for not learning the way that I do. It's like there are certain things where internally I'm thinking like, you couldn't figure this shit out on your own? Like seriously? Because I personally, I ask people for help all the time. Yeah. Like when I don't know things, because that's what you do. That makes sense to me to do. And then once you have the knowledge, you pass it along to somebody else, so that way they can pass it along to somebody else.
Yeah.
So you're not constantly needing to rely. Like I hate feeling like I'm a bother. Okay, that's not just at work. That's not in bands. That's in life. I always feel like I hate being a nuisance.
Right.
Because as a child, I was made out to be a nuisance.
Just a bird.
Because I always wanted everyone's attention. I always wanted to be doing things
You're a baby.
with other people. I hated being alone as a kid, you know? And I was made out to be a nuisance. So as an adult, I have prioritized retaining as much knowledge as I can so I don't have to keep going to people for help.
Yeah.
And then that way I can be self-sufficient. And I think I've done a pretty fucking good job up till now. But I don't see really anybody. Like, it's a very, very small percentage of people that I see who employ that same level of self-reliance.
I think that's sort of, it's a different branch of the same idea tree as the whole, where am I going? I don't want to fuck this up. This whole idea that, like, you know, you have a side of an argument or an opinion or whatever it is and everything, and you need to surround yourself with people like-minded of the, not you, but, you know, like-minded people of the same opinion, so that you have more backup for your opinion and the way that you might handle a situation. It's the same thing as like taking sides in a breakup kind of a thing, you know?
Oh, we're back there.
You surround yourself with people who agree with you, so that when you encounter someone who you believe is wrong, you've got firepower behind it.
Well, look at the company that I kept and the bands that I was in.
Yeah.
Those guys surrounded themselves with other like-minded people.
Yeah.
People who think that you know, being a perfectionist is not, you know, the way to go. It's not necessary. It's like, okay, maybe you're not being a perfectionist, but all of these guys have let themselves be okay and be okay being around each other and be okay not giving 100%, where they all think they're giving 100%. But the thing is, any random person can tell when they're not giving 100%, half-assing something, making a mistake, and then they'll be the first ones to be like, oh, what difference does it make? It's like, it makes a big difference, because you are showing you are showing the world what your values are. You are showing the world how little you care about what you're doing. And I've been there, okay? But it's been pointed out to me that how evident it is when I half-ass things, whether it's in music or schoolwork or jobs or whatever it is. And to me, that's embarrassing.
See, and not just that, though, is that it also shows a disregard for the people who are on the receiving end of your mistakes, you know? Because it's like, if you don't care enough to do 100%, then what about the people who rely on you to do 100%? In a situation like with the band and everything, someone's out of tune, someone doesn't know how to play, someone forgets the lyrics, someone fucks up and everything. Oh, well, you know, I mean, at least most of it sounded good. It's like, yeah, but somebody out there paid for your show. You should be putting in 100%, because that person fucking paid money to watch your show. They didn't pay to watch you practice.
The promoter laid out money to get this show booked. The venue laid out money for promotion, for, you know, for food and drink, for whatever, like, you know.
Yeah. I mean, that's just it.
And if you give less than 100%, one, people are going to remember that. And two, that's going to be a determining factor into whether or not people continue to patronize that establishment.
Yep. Yeah. And I mean, that's just it. It feels,
or patronize the performance or the performers. And
it feels very disrespectful in that respect. Like, and it's the same thing as you know, as you know, picking on someone.
Like, I wouldn't be surprised if they're all saying to themselves or each other, like, he was way too strict, you know, he wasn't that good, blah 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 blah. It's like, but I strived for more. I always did. Like, in the band that Rhodey and I were in college with Justin, I made it a point not only to know my parts, but their parts. So I would know, like, wait a minute, that doesn't sound right. We got to go back and we got to do this again. Or we got to rework this, or we got to do something or whatever, because something's not sounding right. So I started out on drums. I knew my drums. I knew the guitar parts. I knew the bass parts. I knew the vocals. I knew when all the cues came in. That's just something I wanted for myself. Okay?
And that's fine.
And then they're like, all right, you're not that great of a drummer. Admittedly, so, I'm not, okay? Your strengths are on guitar. Move to guitar. I'm like, yes, okay, we got a better drummer. But even then, I said, okay, I'm going to make sure that I know everybody's parts in every song.
You're just a perpetual understudy.
And you know what really pissed me off back then was the fact that everybody was following me because they trusted. They went from seeing me as the drummer, keeping time. Okay, he's keeping time, so he must, he knows everything. We know when to do certain things because of where he's leading it. Okay?
Yeah.
He's the leader. And it's like, no, okay, drummer keeps time, sure. But once I switched to guitar, they were still following my rhythmic cues, but on guitar. And it's like, no, you don't follow guitar because I'm not necessarily keeping a syncopated beat or whatever it is. Like, you have to follow the drummer. The drummer is keeping time.
That's the point.
And I would repeatedly tell that, like, you follow this guy, not me. Like, what are you going to do when I start playing, leads that aren't necessarily like beat, 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 beat. Like, there's embellishments and inflections and things, and that wasn't the only band that happened in. It's like, all of the people I've played with, like, we've all been musicians, for most of our lives. We've all practiced our instruments. We've all written songs. We've all performed. We've all recorded. We've all done these things. You would think that after so many years working a craft, that guys would pick up certain things, that they would grasp, they would just take a little bit more in with every new experience.
Yeah. And
some guys just don't get it. They don't get that, and it's like, I take every experience as something to learn from. And I'm still learning. I'm still learning new. I'm working on things now that I should have had perfected 20 years ago. But as far as I'm concerned, better late than never.
Let me ask you this then, okay? What are you taking away from this whole experience?
Something that my grandfather said for a very, very long time.
What's that? Better
to be alone than in bad company.
Amen. I mean, you and I have talked about that. That, like, it's unfortunate that too many people, they're willing to excuse certain character traits in people in order to surround themselves with more and more company.
Like, I'm at the point now where I can't surround myself with the same kind of people. Do I miss the friendships that I had? Yes. Okay. I miss the camaraderie. I miss the commonality. I miss shooting the shit and just having fun. Okay. But I can't be in a band with any of those people. I can't be in any sort of professional relationship with those people ever again, because those people are not professional.
Right.
They don't act professional. They don't treat every endeavor as professionally as I would. And it's just going to aggravate me, and it's going to make me bitter. And I don't need that. Like, right now, I can do anything that I want.
Yeah.
I can join any group that I want. I can go at my own pace. I can, like, I don't have to hold the grudge. The only grudge I could hold is one against myself, and I'm not going to do that.
Well, what's the point?
Like, as I said previously, if I fuck up on something, I'm going to own it. If I make a mistake, I'm going to rectify it. If I hurt somebody, I'm going to apologize for it. And I apologized. I apologized for being a dick to a lot of people. Okay? But what I've learned is that a lot of people aren't as willing to apologize to me for their transgressions.
I think not just that, but I think too many people demand the apology. I think too many people demand the apology, that it's like, it's not enough that you recognize in yourself that you were a dick and everything, but that they demand that you announce it.
To the world.
To the world. To the world. Dare you exist without a scarlet letter upon your chest? Big D for dick. Heaven for Fen. But I mean, that's just it, like, it's never enough for people, you know? And it's weird in a way that like you can say you're sorry to someone, but they'll bring it right back at you at some point. It's like forgiveness is not what it used to be. Forgiveness doesn't actually, I don't know if forgiveness actually exists anymore.
It definitely does.
It does?
It does. That is something that our faith teaches us.
Forgiveness does exist.
If forgiveness didn't exist, then my family wouldn't be able to forgive me for the things that I've done that I shouldn't have.
But forgiving you and forgetting are two completely different
nobody's
things.
going to forget. Just like I'm not going to forget about things that they've done. Like you saw the spats I got into with Dad when he was still alive,
Yeah.
you know. I couldn't be silent about the fact that he wouldn't let me be a parent, you know, without ruling with an iron fist like he did.
Do you think that forgiveness without forgetting is true forgiveness? Like, I mean, if you truly forgive someone, doesn't that mean that, like, you know, all sins are forgiven?
As long as you don't lord it over their head.
But if you bring it up at some point, isn't that the same thing?
But that's what I'm saying. As long as you don't continually bring it up, as long as you don't, you know, hold it over their head and constantly remind them of it. Like for example, like the thing in 2010, I didn't constantly go to Rhodey and be like, you fucking called the cops on us that time, you fucking asshole. Like that was really shitty. Like,
but did you do it in jest?
No, not even.
Not even like, remember that time you called the cops on us?
No, I left it to the wind.
See, that to me is forgiveness because it's truly water under the bridge at that point.
Rhodey and I set when Dad's health was declining, he and I left strangers practice one time. It was one of the nights where Dad was not feeling great.
Yeah.
He didn't want to be alone. He's like, "Can we go get dinner?" I'm like, "Sure." And I said, Rhodey and I would usually go get dinner after practice. I'm like, "My dad wants me to go get him and go to the diner. Like, you want to come?" And we all sat down together. And Dad didn't remember who he was.
You can't recognize him without the makeup.
And they had a great talk because they had, you know, in later years had things in common because Rhodey travels a lot for his job.
Mm-hmm.
Dad traveled a lot when he worked. You know, they're talking about going different places and this and that and the other thing. And I'm sure I said to Rhodey on the way out, I'm like, far cry from where we were 15 years ago. You know, and I'm like, Dad, you don't remember who that was, do you? I'm like, never mind.
I don't know. I feel like this whole idea of, you know, not truly letting go, like not letting go of those things, I believe is akin to holding a grudge.
I'm never going to forget that they happened, but I'm not going to dwell on them because that's going to hinder my growth. You know, I'm sure they're not dwelling on them. If they are, then they've got some fucking therapy that they need to sign up for.
Well, I mean, a year and a half later, Kyle remembered to block you on Facebook, so you never know.
I don't see why. What difference is it going to make? I'm not going to show up to any of their shows. I'm not going to heckle him. I'm not going to insult him. Well, except for this. Listen, if you would just fucking practice a little bit, I'd have nothing to say. Jesus Christ.
And now that we're talking about him, he's bound to start talking about us.
He's going to fucking say we're telling half truths. Okay, dude. You still lost the sweep bet, and you still have to sit there in your underwear eating an ice cream sandwich.
Man, an ice cream sandwich sounds good.
He and I made a bet that if he couldn't learn to sweep pick in like, I don't know, a month or however long it was, that he was going to have to stand on stage in his underwear eating an ice cream sandwich while the rest of us played Master of Puppets. And then he went back and made some sort of like, you know, he's just like, oh, well, we said it didn't start until this. And, you know, I still have more time. And I'm like, you're so full of shit. And he's like, well, I don't have time to fucking practice. I got a kid and a job and blah, blah. I'm like, oh, boo-hoo. We all have the same fucking shit, dude.
But you're not holding a grudge.
Against what?
I don't know.
I practice my instrument.
And you've been practicing sweeping.
Yes.
Yeah. Good job. Final thoughts? You got anything else you wanna add to the pot? This pot of wisdom.
It's unfortunate that it's more likely that one of them is either going to die or have some, you know, monumental health crisis before any of them says they're sorry to me. You know, and that's not what I want. Like if it were up, like I said weeks ago, like if it were up to me, I'd still be playing in both bands because I enjoyed my time with my friends.
Mhm.
I enjoyed playing music with my friends.
Yeah.
I didn't enjoy arguing about politics. I didn't enjoy singing about politics. I didn't enjoy getting heated over the things we disagree on.
Yeah.
But that's their hang up. That's not mine, okay? My only horse in this race is the things that we enjoy together, but that's not enough for them.
Yeah.
And you know what? If that's the case, then I'll be over here. I'll be like Johnny Depp after the Amber Heard trial. It's like Hollywood,
I'll be over here.
Hollywood, have fun. I'll
Yeah.
be over.
I'll be over
here.
here. I think that's a good way to
Because
frame
not for
it.
nothing, Johnny Depp is a lot better looking than all of them.
Then Amber Heard?
No, I meant all of the guys I've played music with.
Well, yeah. I mean, even now.
And he's in the Hollywood Vampires.
This was a good talk. I had a good
God,
time.
I hope that came up,
Did you have
facing
a good,
forward.
Did you have a good time?
You know,
Of course it
cameras
is.
are
Yeah,
reversed.
this is not reversed.
Okay, good.
It's filming exactly as is.
Excellent.
Thank you.
Luton always be a good time.
Yeah, it does. Thank you out there in podcast land for tuning in. We had a blast. Find us on Instagram, DTAndy and JJ Star with 2 R's, or you can email us, DTAndy and JJ Star at gmail.com, with questions, comments, concerns for our well-being, conversation starters and enders, and whether or not you'd like to be a part of the conversation at some time. Send us a line. You can also find Love Hard Art and Coat of Arms Tattoo on Instagram. Thank you again to the fam at Coat of Arms for all of the all of the stick and poke that we've been getting lately.
He put up a big TV, so your decks got moved.
Again?
They're like halfway between Aubrey and Joe's stations now.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, I'm like, maybe did he move the TV? No, I think because something happened, or because he got a bunch of stuff from the from New England.
You'll
Expo
see it
and
next
stuff.
time you
I'll
go.
see it next time anyway, and stop in there and see all of my stuff.
Get some tattoos done.
Get some tattoos done.
We've been getting stuff done.
Yes, and thank you again for that. Download Podbean. Podbean. For anyone who doesn't actually know, that's how we make money. Give us a like and follow. Tell all your friends.
I was actually recommending it to Oscar the other day.
Did you recommended
Podbean,
Podbean?
Yeah.
They're not going to be doing live streaming anymore. They're taking away that feature. I'm guessing that something probably happened that they can't police. So they're taking it away from everybody. Not that we made a whole lot of use, but you never know who's on the table. And now that it's off the table, maybe we want to do it anyway. But you can also find all of our episodes streaming at ttppodcast.com and all of our videos at DTAndy and JJStar.com. You got anything going on?
No.
No?
I just made a video today. Go see my Instagram, my Facebook. Don't go to my TikTok because they muted the fucking track. So
Yeah, whatever that's all about.
This fucking Universal group sucks.
But yes, downtown_Andy. And you can find me, Jess Starable. Why not? And the cat is finally chill. And we can release the Krakens into their independent environments. But that's it for me. You good?
Sure.
And that's it. That's a full lid from the 4 of us at That Talking Podcast. I'm JJ Star.
And I'm Downtown Andy.
We'll talk to you later.